Vanakkam. This is Srividya Veeraraghavan from Chennai, India. A happy Navarathri to all. In this festival season, I bring to you a story on Navarathri. Though there are numerous legends on why we celebrate Navarathri in India, I bring to you the most popular one. That is the story of Durga as Ma Mahisasuramardhini. So as I go into the story, I truly hope that you be connected to the divine energy and travel along with me into the land of Mahisasuramardhini. And here we go. Millions of years ago, there was a land. A land which was filled with an aroma of peace and harmony, where the trees were radiating fresh energy and the entire creatures living on the land were happy and were so pure that they all were directly getting connected to the supreme energy. Such was this beautiful land where everything was so perfect, so correct. Till one day, a baby was born. A baby. Yes, a baby. A baby who was named Mahisasura, meaning the king of Asura. And as the name suggested, as years passed on, he grew up. He grew up to be the most powerful, not just by his physical strength, but also because of his vigorous penance and getting a boon from Lord Brahma to become the eternally immortal being in the entire universe. And this Mahisasura became so very powerful, so very, very, very powerful, not just on this land but throughout the cosmos, that not just the people on this land, not just the nature that got subsided under him, but also the devas and devis and even the gods now had to subside under his feet. He was destroying everything and anything, and he wanted to take control of everything in this cosmos. He told to himself that he is the most powerful being. God is under him. That was the power. But how long can anybody handle and tackle this? The people were in pain. The entire cosmos was crying out of the misery that one day the Trinity, the Lord Brahma, the Vishnu and the Shiva came together. Aha! Something had to be done. The end has to be brought to Mahisasura. And hence, they prayed to Adishakti. And the prayers brought a beam of light onto their forehead. The Adishakti, the creator, the mother of the universe. Through her, the radiating beam of light from Vishnu, from Brahma and Shiva came from the forehead into making as a ball of fire. As it merged, it started radiating an extremely powerful beam of energy. So powerful that it started to light up the entire dark universe. That the devas and devis and every other demigods, they assembled to witness the power. This was the power of Agni, of the energy, of that Shakti, the feminine power, which and only which can end the plight of this Mahisasura. And there she was, as the beam of light. But this beam of light had to be given a form. Had to be given a form when she goes into that land. And hence, Lord Shiva gave her the face. Vishnu gave her the shoulders. The Indra adorned her with the jewels. The Yama gave her the dark, lengthy, curly hair. And there she was, into the form of a woman, a powerful woman. The Ma Durga, the Jagadambigai. What power that she had. And there she stood. There she stood in front of all the Devas and Devis. And there she was. Aigiri Nandini Nandita Medini Vishnu Vinodini Nandinute Girivara Vindya Shirodini Vasini Vishnu Vilasini Jishnunute Bhagavati Heshiti Konda Kutumbini Bhuri Kutumbini Bhuri Krute Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardhini Ramyakapardhini Shailasute. All the Devis and Devas and all the gods and demigods did pranam to her, seeking her blessings and seeking her help to destroy the Mahishasura, the powerful Asura who is destroying everybody and everything. And there the Devi descended from the board onto the land. And as she sat there, the Himagiri gave her the Simha as her Vahana. And she sat onto it. She radiated beauty. She radiated a divine energy. And as she came down, the whole land was covered with her radiance. The grass was now having a freshness. The burned down trees were giving out the fresh branches. The air was now filled once again with the aroma of energy, of the beauty. As this Devi, she's just sat there. And there she was, sitting. And once her sight touched anything and everything, it sparkled with her beam of energy. The land was filled with her beauty, and so was her smell. Went on to the palace of the Mahishasura. He smelled. I smell someone enter this land. Who is that? Hey, go check out. And the Mahishasuran army, they went and tried to see who was that, and they froze. They froze looking at her beauty, her radiance. That they went back and informed. And as Mahishasuran was informed on this, he immediately rose up and said, such beauty? Such beauty? Go tell that lady that I wish to have her as my wife. Go tell her that she can be my queen and she can live in my palace. So, the army went and tried to speak to the Devi who was seated on the Simha. And when the army went near to her, they couldn't meet her eyes because that was radiating a beam that they couldn't handle. And they said, "Hey, hey, hey, come, our Raja wants to marry you. How lucky you could be." Without knowing the power of the Devi, without knowing who she was, the ignorant army, they so very casually called her as like they wanted to call any other woman on this land. But the Devi was looking at them. She was still calm. She looked at them and said, "Marry me. Let it be. That can. But go tell your Raja that if he wants to marry me, he has to win me on a battle. We'll see after that. Go." The calmness and the firmness in her voice kind of terrified this army. They had never listened or heard a woman speak so bravely and so calmly, at the same time so firmly. So they rushed back to Mahisasura to inform, and he was taken aback. An ordinary woman wants to fight with me. I don't want to trouble her tender fingers. I want to marry her. Oh, if I fight her, her soft skin will get rashes. I don't want to trouble her. Ordinary woman. But inside Mahisasura, he could sense that she cannot be any ordinary woman. Anyway, Mahisasura wanted to see who is that woman. So he actually marched towards her. And when she saw her, his face again froze like anybody. His powerful being kind of getting melted now. He was looking at her eyes. The eyes were beaming with energy, with radiance. And the energy Mahisasura couldn't bear. There was something coming straight onto his eyes that he couldn't take it. But still, she was so beautiful. There was something so different about her that he wanted to acquire her. And then he went near her and said, "Hey, hey, lady, you want to fight me? You know who am I? I am the most powerful being in this cosmos. I am the Mahisasura. Come, fight me if you can." And Devi looked at him. "Yes, I am here to fight you." And then she rose up from the Simha. And then the battle started. Not to the expectation of Mahisasura, she turned out to be so tough, so equal to his power, that he had to use all his astras, and so was the Devi. And as she came forth, there were 1,000 arms that came out of her, and every arm had an astra. The Vishnu had given her the Sudarshana Chakra, the Shiva had given her the Trishula, the Brahma had given her the Kamandalam, and every other arm was holding one or the other astras. The Devi was raising up, and her eyes were so straight onto Mahisasura that he was getting weaker and weaker by the energy that was emitting out of. But he was not taking on. He was not getting into defeat. He was fighting it hard, because after all, that was a woman. So Mahisasura was fighting hard and hard and hard. Little did he know, little did he, Mayavi that had hidden his brain, that this was no ordinary woman. She was the Shakti. She was the Ma Shakti. She was the Jagadambike. She was the Durga Ma who was here to destroy one and only one. That was Mahisasura. That was him. Ignorance and his whole arrogance has taken over, has kind of made him blind, and he kept fighting with her, taking a form suddenly of a lion. And as he tried to pounce on her, Harsimha, she pounced back on Mahisasura. Ow! And Mahisasura got a scratch. He ran and got hidden. And then once again he came out. And all this battle was happening for the 9 long days and night. Continuously the battle was on. Mahisasura had to bring the armies out one after the other to fight with the Devi. And the Devi also brought the army out. How did she do? She inhaled, exhaled. And as she exhaled, she brought out thousands of army from her nostrils, and they were fighting equally with the army of Mahisasura. The whole land was now a battlefield. The earth was shaking. The mountains were cracking and the oceans were bringing out the water in, and everything was like a pralayam. Everything was destroying, and this and that, and the whole area was a battlefield. The people of the land were getting scared. They were going back into their hide, and they were looking out for a better days ahead. And here, Ma Durga was fighting ferociously with Mahisasura. No end was seemingly for this battle. And there's one on the 10th day, as Mahisasura brought himself like an elephant. Now he was trying to attack Devi. Devi was also trying to attack her. And she took a sword and she cut off the head of the elephant. And top, the head fell. And from in there came Mahisasura on his original form. He couldn't know where to hide again. Now he was in this original form, getting bigger inside and outside, but somehow he was trying to stand ahead, and it's his original form before he could attain any other form. Ma Devi took out the Trishula, and on the form of Chandi as a form of Kali. She was so ferocious on that day, 10th day of that battle, that she took out her Trishula and she pierced straight into the chest of Mahisasura. And as she pierced, her eyes became even more red and white. She was burning with the kind of ferociousness, and her tongue had come out, because all her energy was here to pierce the most powerful, the eternal being on this earth. And as she had pierced, then the tongue had come out. The power was emitting. And as the Trishula went straight onto the chest of Mahisasura, there, he fell down to the ground, never to breathe again. The blood pumped out, and the people from away, they all came out. The Devas and Devis and the demigods and everybody, they were all above. They were witnessing this scene that they were trying to have to see for so many decades. The dark sky was now kind of getting brighter. The clouds had gone. Now the sun was beaming bright. The moon was shining so well. And the Lord's smile on the people and the beings of the land had been regained. Everybody thanked and rejoiced Devi. They called her Mahishasura Mardini. Mahishasura Mardini. Mahishasura Mardini. Aho! Aho! ऐगिरि नन्दिनि नन्दितमेधिनि विष्णुविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्यशिरोधिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते ऐगिरि नन्दिनि नन्दितमेधिनि. Likewise, Mahishasuramardhini had defeated the Mahishasuran, the greatest of great asura, meaning she had defeated the devil, she had defeated the evil. She had defeated the deeds of the evil. Because there was goodness everywhere, as the Devi herself was a form of goodness. Devi who brings in goodness over evil. Devi who sends us a message that always the will is for the goodness, and always the purity in heart can bring in the Shakti that we need to defeat any evil in this world. The Shakti. Yes. The Ma Shakti even today is there. Even today it is there within you, within me. As that power that we have inside, as a beam of light that we have inside, which is maybe kind of covered with the evil thoughts, with the kind of fear and a lot of negativity around. But as Ma Durga, if we can destroy the evil thoughts, the Shakti can emerge out, and the whole world can become even more harmonious and peaceful yet again. Have a victorious Navarathri. Have the most purest Navarathri ever this year. With these wishes, I take a goodbye. Hope you enjoyed the story with me. Thank you so much.